off of the bat of Neely Peterson. Here we go. The weather has cooperated, just an hour delay. Rothrock to deal to Avery Villancos. Strike one. And we are underway here at a full weekend of softball at KSP.
Just glad it was only an hour-long delay instead of more. But hey, that's Florida for you. It rains and then let the day go by, and all of a sudden you're back in business. Sun's out and softball game going on.
And I think both of these teams will sign up for the conditions. They are absolutely used to them being here in the state of Florida. Villancos takes a little bit outside, looking to spot the corner there. The second team All-Sun member, hitting a robust .342 on the season. 4 extra base hits, has driven in 23 runs so far for the Eagles. And she'll look at strike three.
Rothrock, she likes to go after hitters. They are aggressive in the circle, the Gators are. And this pitch right here, that's that low rise that you're gonna have to watch out for. You think it's gonna rise up, get up above the shoulders, and then it just kind of rises, stays inside the zone.
One out for Riley Oakes, who fouls it off. Oakes on a 13-game hit streak coming into the NCAA tournament, where her average has ballooned in that stretch all the way up to .341 now. She's hitting .451 over those 13 games with 13 runs scored, has also swiped 5 bags. Chopper just foul.
And I think Oakes and Peterson, they're the duo that really gets this team going. You have Oakes, she's second in almost every single category, and then Peterson, who leads in almost every single category. You have to have a team that is that spark plug. You have to have players who really know, all right, first inning, let's pack a punch, let's throw some swings.
Got her on the inside corner this time. Rothrock spotting both parts of the zone perfectly.
She is not playing around. She come, look at that spin rate. She's coming to do business right here. Jocelyn Erickson, the lefty behind the plate, the catcher, doing a great job framing that pitch as well.
Now Neely Peterson, nobody on, swinging at the first pitch, pops it up on the left side. This is for the freshman Ariel Kowalewski, just an 8-pitch.
Not allowed a single home run. And that is so important because she's thrown 94 innings. That does not happen.
No.
So if you want to give your team a chance, allow the ball to work for your defense, she's the choice automatically. She likes to keep those doubles limited as well. That's the way to go.
Taking a look at the Florida starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. I mean, you can take your pick here of who to highlight. Jocelyn Erickson is as good as anybody, though. 75 runs driven in this year, the left-handed catcher, and the transfer has just been so good coming from your alma mater, Oklahoma.
Absolutely. She is calm, cool, collected. Even whenever we were interviewing her, you could just tell she's somebody who a team can rely on. She is consistent, and she is steady Eddie all the way through, highs and lows. And that's what you want in a Gator lineup, especially when you're so hot. You want somebody who holds down the fort.
Here's Kendra Falby. Fouls off the first pitch. Falby, 81 hits on the year, which is the most in the SEC, 4th in the country. And she has been so consistent, right around last year's total of 85. And who knows, by the end of this run by Florida, who head coach Tim Walton hoping, of course, ends in Oklahoma City, she might even be over 85 by the end of it. Ripped the opposite way, it'll end foul. Tim Walton now year number 19. He's going to be inducted into the NFCA Hall of Fame in December. Congratulations to him. And now only 5 wins away from 1,100 in his career.
I mean, what he has done is nothing short of incredible. One of the best coaches, not just active, but ever to do it. Think of the Olympians that he's coached, the All-Americans, the national championships that he's won. He's seen a lot of success. He just knows how to get the most out of his teams.
1-2, had to stay alive, over to third, bobbled for a moment. But a nice recovery by Gibson just in time to get the speedy Falby.
For a moment there, that looks like that could have been an error that you wanted back. Watch the way that she sticks with it, though. The ball comes out of the glove, bobbles in the hand, being able to reach out. And you could see Falby just a short little stutter step on that base, too. She might have gotten it.
Corby Otis now, the Louisville transfer. I'm with you. She was right in between a full step. And if she was able to maybe lunge for the bag a little bit closer to it, we might have a runner on first and nobody out. Otis just named a top 10 finalist for USA Softball Player of the Year. .467 batting average, only 2 better in the entire country, showing that she can perform at the ACC and certainly at the SEC level.
I think that's what we've seen, not just here, or what we're going to see here at this regional, but what we're going to see all across the NCAA tournament is there's players and teams that maybe 5 years ago you wouldn't think twice about because they come from a certain school, but there is a growth to the game that has been sparked for the past 10 years, and those athletes are now in college and they are just tearing it up. It's been really fun to watch Otis talk about how she came alive whenever she got to Florida, and the competition, that level just increasing.
3-1 on the All-SEC first teamer. Off the fists, over to second. There's Meek, 2 away. Great start for Sparkman in the circle so far. For FGCU, this is their second ever NCAA tournament appearance. Their only other one was back in 2012, looking to advance to their first NCAA Super Regional. And they're playing with house money. I mean, they know it is an uphill climb, but this is a feisty team, and one that head coach David DeRose says earned their ASUN tournament championship. Had to win 4 games in 4 days. He's the architect of this program, the only one that has ever done it in Fort Myers. There's strike 2. DeRose also might be the most interesting man in all of college softball coaching. He's an accomplished chemist, has a master's from analytical chemistry in Miami, and still teaches a course every fall at FGCU. Right back to Sparkman. Well, Keegan Rothrock sets FGCU up 3-3.
One of the best catchers, one of the best arms, one of the best presence behind the plate in the country.
Well, she's rated the 3rd best framer in the country and has saved 11 defensive runs, which is the best in Division I, and has only allowed 9 stolen bases. Those are percentages you just don't really see, especially in the SEC, with how fast, how good these runners are once they get on base.
Well, you think about the SEC, and 11 runs is a lot, especially in those tight games, those close games. It's little things that add up.
It's the difference between 17 conference wins and, potentially 13 or 14, and a difference in seeding in the SEC tournament, and a difference certainly in seeding when you get to the NCAAs. Gibson to lead off for the Eagles, the cleanup hitter after Keegan Rothrock went through that lineup in the top of the first in order. Now we'll 2-2.
That one, that was it. You don't see a ton of power from Florida Gulf Coast, but that one, the preparation, as soon as you find out, this is where I'm going, these are who we have to focus on, these pitchers, the preparation is everything.
2-2. Right back to the screen. We'll do it again. Florida Gulf Coast is a small ball team. What they do well is run. Most stolen bases in the Atlantic Sun this year, 99 of them, 15th most in Division I. That's off the end of the bat to third, and there's Kowalewski for out number 1. Well, we certainly know that Keegan Rothrock was thrown into the fire in the SEC tournament. She was basically out there every single inning, except for Ava Brown, who threw 1 1/3. And that was it. Everything else was Rothrock, so she got the experience of playing some major tournament softball. You would think being here at home in the NCAA tournament's not going to faze her very much.
Being able to get that experience in a crowd with high stakes, a lot of pressure, that is the best thing that could have happened to her heading into postseason. Because teams that are battle-tested, athletes that are battle-tested, you get to see them thrive. And they have the confidence, and you see them feel comfortable to throw pitches like that with confidence and with authority.
Oh, and 2 on Mackenzie Wittenberg. Chopper over to second. There's Williams, and the freshman over to her fellow freshman, Brown, on the right side of the infield for out number 2. Maybe that's what makes Florida so impressive this year, is how many young players are part of all of this. Rothrock in the circle. You've got 3/4 of the outfield who are brand new, or the infield, that is, brand new players. But Skylar Wallace at short. Out to center, and there's Falby. Barely has to move a muscle, and the first 6 in a row retire. Question, and one that we are going to have to put our crack camera team on. Try to get a spot of the feet.
A full shot.
It's tough to get the feet, though. We'll see if, see, out of view.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's almost sacrilege, though, to wear Crocs when you're a Gator fan.
Is it allowed?
There's a strike on the outside corner. Here to Jocelyn Erickson, the SEC Player of the Year, stepping in. Second straight Gator to earn that award. Starting shortstop, Skylar Wallace, had it back in 2023. Erickson bounces over to second, and that's handled by Meek for out number 1. And this is as much a no-stress start as you can get here for Sparkman.
Well, we've seen it on both sides with both pitchers. They like to attack the zone early. They do their research. It's all about going in with the game plan and executing it. I see this swing. Where am I best at? Where can I throw that she's going to miss or miss-hit?
Walsh, also a member of the SEC first team, leads this club with 16 home runs, already double what she hit last year, and tied for second with 59 runs driven in. Trying to get the first hit of the game, though. She'll take a little bit downstairs.
Sparkman does really well also, because she moves the ball around in the zone, different locations. You won't see too many change of speeds, but you'll see high pitches, low pitches, in, out. She keeps these Gators guessing. And whenever you have hitters at the plate who can analyze and just that feeling of tempo, you have to keep them guessing. Otherwise, as soon as they see a rhythm, they're attaching onto it and they're going, all right, I'm sending this one. I know what's coming. I'm on time.
And earlier we saw, before this inning started, Jocelyn Erickson having a conversation with Skylar Wallace. Here's what I saw. What a great resource to have back-to-back Players of the Year in the SEC conferring like that.
It's just casual, everyday conversation for them, but the wealth of information.
3-1, driven, right center field, on the run. Black hauls it in. First ball that was tagged off of Sparkman, but the FGCU right fielder runs it down.
There is a confidence and freedom. You can see she is squarely set up in right field. This is deep in the gap. That ball was hit hard. So the confidence as a pitcher, knowing you have outfielders who can have that kind of range, they're able to read the ball well, get good jumps, you're free to throw those pitches up in the zone.
Katie Kistler now. These two teams did meet earlier in the year. They do frequently play each other from time to time, being in-state rivals and lost to Florida in a 9-0 5-inning run rule back in Fort Myers. That was in March. David Deros, the FGCU head coach, said on that night we played two teams because we also beat ourselves.
And that's what you always feel, right? Whenever you take the loss, very rarely is it that another team just straight up beats you. The ability to, okay, what did we learn? No pressure in this situation. Yes, our season's on the line, but we've been in this situation before. We've played against this team before. We know the adjustments that we need to make.
And there's a 4-pitch walk to Kistler. First blemish of the day for Sparkman in the circle. But this is kind of what we're talking about with this Florida lineup. You make that mistake, and then you've got to deal with someone who can absolutely hurt you with one swing of the bat.
That's where what we were talking about of the conversations between these teammates, not just in between innings, but in between pitches, in between at-bats, whenever you're sitting in the dugout, what are you seeing? What are the tendencies? What pitches can we eliminate? She might throw them for strikes, but not all the time. What pitches do I want to be hunting and going after? Which ones can I let go?
Kistler on the first base runner of this game. And Ava Brown, the reigning Gatorade High School National Player of the Year, was also two-time Player of the Year in Texas. A two-way star for Florida here in her freshman season. She didn't know what it was like to lose a game in high school in the circle. She was 81-0. Even with the best recruits, you see some losses. Ball and a strike now here on Brown.
That just goes to the level that she's been playing at so far this year as a freshman. All the freshmen, really, that class, they don't like to lose. They love to compete. They thrive in it. They embrace it. What better time, of course, than postseason, but that's why you're seeing so many freshmen out on the field, starting, making impacts with this team. Just missing.
Pretty good spot there by Sparkman. Everyone that has been involved in Florida softball has been waiting for this year. This is the #1 recruiting class in the country as freshmen. Do another 2-2.
Played together. You have a summer together, day in and day out. There's familiarity there, but not just for the Gators. There was several other big-time programs, big-time players on that team as well. You had a couple had Isabella Torres from Florida State. You had Maddox McKee from LSU. You had Zoe Yeager from Virginia Tech, Cassidy Pickering from Oklahoma, Reagan Jennings from Texas Tech, Madison Azua from Texas State. She's in postseason right now. Carrington Dawson from Baylor, Emily Smith with Louisiana, then Kennedy McEnroe from Alabama.
Good
have
names.
a team like that. I'm like trying to get through the list before the next pitch, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll have time. But you have so many elite players, you're bound to have some kind of mental edge. And it shows. These athletes are stepping onto campus ready, confident, eager. Give me the ball. I want it. Let me be in the box whenever game's on the line.
And Nicole Mendez is on that list as well.
I am. I got to work with them as well.
2 balls and 2 strikes as Brown stays alive the last couple of pitches from Sparkman. Kistler on first for Florida. Just missed.
Low and outside pitch. We've seen some called to strike. Some of them, they look good, but they haven't. It's been a little bit of back and forth, but if he's not calling it, good job by Brown battling. That's the 8th pitch of the at-bat.
3-2 off the end of the bat, shallow left center, and there is Oaks, a terrific defensive center fielder to haul. Maybe those pitchers falter, and it could be very interesting to see what the Gators can do here in 2024, or is it just going to be a four-peat for Oklahoma?
I think the biggest thing to ask is consistency. Who are the teams who have been consistent? Who are the teams that are tough? We have seen the Gators, they clearly have the talent. You look at their stats, they pass the eye test, but sometimes there's something that is missing. And Tim Walton said about a month ago, wasn't that they were playing bad, they were winning, they were getting hits, but there was something missing that if they had to play in the World Series, they might not have been the team.
Megan Ricks hit by a pitch to lead off the third. That's the first time that an Eagle has reached base against Keegan Rothrock.
Back to back, you can tell Rothrock wanting to go up tight in on the hands at high level. Got a couple swings and misses on those. I like the idea there, but you don't have to be that tight, especially early in the count. I'd like to see it a little bit more over the plate.
So now here is Sophie Wiley with one out and nobody on. One on and nobody out, that is, and she takes inside.
But going off of what I was saying before, Walton said they weren't there a month ago, and he had to go into the locker room. The team got together, and they said, let's flip a switch, and they have been playing lights out ever since.
Wiley showing bunt, pops it up. Erickson can't get to it. Yeah, the Gators have won 9 out of their last 10, all of those games against ranked teams. And he told us that the last 10 games just kind of speak for themselves. And you look at the way the lineup is constructed, he is literally just trying to get as many runs as he possibly can out of this team. That's why there's so much firepower at the top. He's not really worried about balance that much. And he loves the way that this team plays in a tournament. And that's what we saw in the SEC tournament. They're a really tough out.
It's the mentality of me versus everybody. The team, Florida, me, us, versus anybody else who's in that other dugout. And that is what they've really embraced. And we asked them, like you said, what's the strategy? What are you guys thinking? And he said, we want to score a lot of runs. We are focusing on those doubles. We're focusing on having hard hit balls, and that's the most important thing. You have a ball that's hit 50 miles an hour to a second baseman, or you have a ball that's hit 70 miles an hour to second baseman. It makes it way more challenging to field the ball cleanly, much less field it at all. Do you want to speak on this at bat? We saw a bunt attempt. We saw a hit and run attempt. Whenever Florida Gulf Coast gets on base, you're going to see a lot of action, a lot of pressure on defense from them.
Not going, and the pitch is popped up. There's Williams. One away. Yeah, this is the first time that Florida Gulf Coast has gotten a runner on base. So we haven't had a chance to see them really do what they do the best, which is put runners in motion. Steal bases. Their next one is going to be 100 on the season. Here's Olivia Black, the number 9 hitting right fielder for FGCU. One on, one out, no score. Top of the third. Runner on the move. Throw down by Erickson. Not in time, and not often you're able to swipe a base off of Erickson, but that is exactly what Megan Ricks accomplishes. 12th stolen base in as many attempts this year.
And I think she gets in before the tag. Foot might have been blocked a little bit, but I think she would have been safe regardless. But this is called obstruction by Skylar Wallace. Her foot completely in front of second base. So regardless, she would have been safe whether she beat the throw or not.
And now make it a century mark. Stolen bases this year.
I mean, come
That's
on.
incredible.
Come on. You love that. You love to see the aggression. I feel like, I don't want to say disappearing art, but I don't see it as much.
Chopper over to Wallace from her knees, makes the strong throw. How about the stretch by Brown? 2 away.
I have no words. Skylar Wallace from the knees. This is a great job calming her momentum. Takes her towards third. She falls down. But the quick release and then the stretch from Brown, being able to stay eyes down on that ball all the way through, huge.
30 pitches first time through the order for Rothrock. Here's Viancos showing bunt, takes back, and it's ball one.
I think the biggest thing about that is, yes, the play was made to Skylar Wallace, but they also prevented the runner from advancing to third. A runner on third with 2 outs is a lot more attractive than a runner on second.
And there's Kowalewski to haul it in. Medeiros. Coach, you went with Allison Sparkman in the circle. The freshman has looked excellent so far. What was the reasoning for that instead of Bonilla? How do you think she's thrown?
I think she's doing a great job. I'd like for her to flip the script this inning versus last inning. We were behind in a lot of counts, but Allison knows what she's doing. She goes after hitters. She's a bulldog. We're happy that she's out there.
Coach, offensively, both teams struggled to get a couple of hits, couple of runs across the board. What pitches are you trying to eliminate as you go in throughout the rest of the game?
I think the biggest thing for us is lay off our rise ball. If we can bring it on down in the zone, I think we can do some damage. We just got to do a better job of getting our bats there.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for the time.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right, second trip for David Darrows and Florida Gulf Coast as they look to pull the upset. And, I mean, so far so good. And there is their mascot, Carlos. You see the 5 crowns. That is because they needed all of those wins. Each one represents a win in the ASUN tournament that they were able to get in order to be at this point and play in the Gainesville Regional. And they told us that he would be a part of the dugout, and he certainly is.
They were referring to him as Carlos the entire time. And I don't know if you were thinking that, but I thought Carlos was a person. And so whenever they said it was their mascot, I was, wait, he's not real? Kind of threw me for a loop.
Ariel Kowalewski over to second, and there is Meek, out number 1. So far, both pitchers have allowed just a single base runner, 1 a hit by pitch, 1 a walk to Katie Kistler back in the second inning. And that is all the offense we have to speak about for a Gators team that has scored a run in the first or second inning in 6 of their 7 previous games coming in. They were a team that jumped out on the opponent, especially in the SEC tournament. And you would think that that was as big a reason as any that they were able to win their 6th SEC tournament championship.
Kat, to your point, we talked about both of these teams. This is not the first time they've seen each other this year. Both of them have come out, made adjustments, made aggression, being able to have big-time games. We look at Florida Gulf Coast, and not only did they win their championship game for their conference tournament with a walk-off, they won on a walk-off in semis as well. There's a little bit more intensity, a little bit more urgency that they didn't have earlier in the year that they're able to bring into this game against Florida.
2-0 on Mia Williams. Another tremendous freshman, but she whiffs on that one. And there is Jason Williams, the NBA veteran, white chocolate, the Florida alum, who was so good here with the Gators and, of course, in the NBA, cheering on his daughter, Mia. And not only that, his mom, Danica, was a 2-time All-American javelin thrower here at the University of Florida as well. I mean, that is an athletic family right there. He's got a good seat.
And the best seat in the house. I wonder if he ever tries to talk to her.
Talk to her during the game.
Yeah.
I would imagine outside of the field, he's talking to her all the time. There's a walk to Williams, and she is on here with 1 out in the 3rd.
We spoke on it earlier, but that outside corner, that's going to be the key piece for this game. I believe with the direction that this game is going, with both of these pitchers throwing so well, getting ahead, that outside corner has been a trouble spot for Sparkman. She has not been able to consistently find that strike. She had 2 pitches that looked really good, but Williams, she takes them, and all of a sudden she finds herself on first. That's what happened last time she walked a batter.
Well, let's see what Florida can do here. Second time through the order. Williams was running there. Falby just fouled it off. Let's see if Kendra can restart after just 2 for 11 in that SEC tournament victory. 0 for 1 today, a ground out to third, but she is such a spark, the energy for this team at the top of the order. Now down to the count 0-2.
Slap and runs, hit and runs. We're seeing action on both sides from these teams, but Tim Walton said, Volby, she's the one who's the spark plug. You're gonna see the power from Otis, from Wallace, from Erickson, but Volby, she's the one that gets this team ignited, gets them going. And that's what they need right now as we're in the bottom of the third with 2 base runners.
0-2 is off of the glove of Sparkman. Go to second just in time. What an adjustment by Wiley. It's short, but Williams thinks she's safe. We might see a review.
It was very quick, and that's one thing, as we've seen so many reviews on those plays, and you can see Tim Walton going, yeah, I want it. I look to the athletes. Do they immediately ask for the review? Do they not? And immediately she comes up and she's asking, she's putting her hands up saying, I think I was safe. Whenever there's that kind of conviction, if you're a coach, you have to believe in that athlete and go, okay, let's give it a second chance. Let's give it a second look.
So Tim Walton is using one of his 2 challenges. It has to be indisputable video evidence in order to overturn the call on the field, which, keep in mind, was out. Is there a look that's good enough that would change the call by Tyler Barfus at second base?
I think if there was one, it was the first one that we saw, and it may have been Williams, her left hand might have slid in there. That's the only thing that I could have seen. But again, the umpires, they get to slow it down, they get to blow it up. It's not just them right here looking at video review, but there's a room full of people who are watching this, analyzing it, breaking it down. But in your top left screen, right there, I think she might be safe.
Fans are looking at this exact same review and cheering because they think Williams is in there. So does she. She thought that from the very beginning, though. Now, it's not the umpires on the field who are making the call. It is a room full of officials back in Pittsburgh in mission control at NCAA headquarters. And we have our decision. Let's see what it is. Home plate umpires Chris Neighbors.
The suspense always kills me.
Doesn't seem like the mic pack is working either, which is unfortunate. But we're going to see him put his arms out at safe, and then there we go. Call is changed, and Williams is safe at second base.
Whenever athletes pop up like that again, you have to trust in their split-second reaction, because a lot of times they're the ones right there. They see the play the best. And this is a big-time momentum play for Florida. Runners in scoring position for the first time. Only one out. They are primed to get something across the board.
Quite a way to get our first hit of this regional as that's tagged out to right. There's Black once again, and no advance. Otis swinging on the first pitch. And there's 2 away.
I mean, Otis, she's able to take that low and away pitch that Sparkman she's been trying to go to time and time again. But this outfield has made several plays. They've put themselves up into positions where they don't have to race down and track down balls too much. They're just able to, all right, step or 2 to the left, step or 2 to the right, and they're there.
Tim Walton after this final out here in the bottom of the third, hoping it doesn't come from Skylar Wallace. Downstairs 1-1. Average just a shade below 400 on the season. See her coming up in Athletes Unlimited, picked 6th in the collegiate draft.
Pitches, those are tough. because those are right on the line, borderline, but that's why Skylar Wallace is so good. She's patient at the plate. She has great discipline. You want to swing at that pitch if you're a hitter. You see that and you're like, yes, let me go after it, having that discipline.
Only a matter of time. Wallace bounces it into right center. Florida takes the lead. Falby around third, and she's in there as well. It's a 2-run hit for Skylar Wallace, and Florida's on the board.
And Skylar Wallace, just like that. It's the same pitch, it's the same location, just a little bit farther over the plate. And she didn't get all of it, but that's the thing that we were talking about. The harder you hit it, the more likely it's to get through the infield. And she's fired up. This team has been threatening, wanting all inning long. You just needed one hit to break it open.
2 outs for Jocelyn Erickson. Just missed, and with that double, Florida now sets a new single-season program record, the 103rd of the season.
I mean, what can't this team do offensively?
And now this Gators crowd really getting into it. You feel like it might be somewhat danger time for FGCU. They need this last out in the worst way, get themselves back up here with only a 2-run deficit.
Jocelyn Erickson, though, probably one of the hottest bats consistently throughout the year.
She goes the opposite way, lifted to left. Park's going to hold it for Viancos. And that'll do it here in the third. Been red hot. What's changed for your team in May?
Well, I think there's quite a few things that have changed. I think getting Skylar Wallace at full strength offensively is a huge get. Keegan's really improved herself, matured, and got better. But we've gotten better. We've got to tick better all the time. Even some of our losses, we still keep seeing we're getting better. I think this team, enjoys playing with each other. We do a good job, and they just complement each other so well.
Coach, there was more aggression. There was a couple of hit and run, it looked like. What did you guys tell yourselves in the circle, in the batter's box, going into last inning?
Well, just the same key. This kid's pitching really good. She's got good spin. You can tell we're getting a lot of the top of the ball, and when we do get it elevated, it's not carrying very well. So she's doing a good job with her spin. We're just trying to make our little adjustments, find the bottom of the ball as much as we possibly can, get our back knee dirty, try to find a way to get underneath it. But, the speed and then the defensive switch up right there, put the runner in motion with Kendra up and Mia on first base. So it's just trying to be a little bit aggressive, but take advantage of maybe some defensive miscue potential.
Absolutely, and a 2-0 lead. Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you. Go Gators.
19 seasons at the helm, a guy who has brought this team to a perennial national championship caliber club, and this year is absolutely no different. The number 4 overall seed, so if they are able to get through the Gainesville Regional, they will be right back here next weekend, matched up with the Lafayette Regional, where Louisiana is the team to beat there, the number 13 overall seed.
Your team's here this weekend. Maybe keep an eye on that regional, see how that one's going. But I think what I love most about that interview with Coach, we talked, how great is he? How great a coach, but he keeps it so simple. He was saying just hit the top half of the ball, get the back knee dirty. He's not trying to make it too complicated because it's not. The more complicated you get in the box, the less success that you'll find. He's just saying, all right, let's look for the top half of the ball. Let's try to hit ground balls. Let's try to hit them hard. See if that does anything, and it did.
3 balls and no strikes, though, here on Riley Oaks to lead off the 4th. There's strike 1. Also, there are some new members on this coaching staff as well. Chelsea Dobbins comes over from North Carolina to be the pitching coach after Donna Papa retires at UNC. High hop to Wallace, 1 away. The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action beginning Thursday, May 30th, noon Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2024 WCWS, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. So 4 in a row set down here by Keegan Rothrock after that hit by pitch to Ricks. And Dobbins has been learning along with this staff, because remember, most of this pitching staff true freshmen in Keegan Rothrock and Ava Brown.
Not even just true freshmen, but transfers. They are just new to the program itself. And we got to sit down with some of them, and they were just talking about the most important thing that they have found is communication. It's less about the pitches. Everybody at this point, at this level, you kind of know most of the things. You can see Coach coming out right now communicating, but being able to know, okay, what is your tendencies? What do you like as a pitcher? What do you not like? How can I, as a pitching coach, how can I, as a battery, communicate with one another to get the most out of you in game? Right now, Rothrock, she got behind 3-0 last batter. Right now, she's behind 2-0. Coach just calls time. She comes out. She says, okay, maybe it's a physical thing. Maybe it's let's just focus on getting the first pitch strike, and then from there we can expand our zone. But let's really, really lay in on that first pitch. Whatever it is, they've been able to communicate that in real time, in practice, out of practice, weekends. So whenever they have this situation in game, it's a quick, easy, no pressure. Just, hey, just a reminder.
2-0 on Neely Peterson. Comes right back in on the fists. It's been a 2-0 count on back-to-back hitters against Rothrock, and this is not someone you want to miss to. Peterson leading the team, 10 doubles, 4 home runs, 35 runs driven in. And this is for the all-important trip to the 1-0 game. The longer you can stay out of the loser's bracket, the better. You know that firsthand, Nicole, although you guys don't experience the loser's bracket very often being at Oklahoma. But, you know, it is a situation where you have to play so many more games, use so many more arms. And if you lose day one, just getting to Sunday is a real challenge.
Yeah, especially for a team like Florida Gulf Coast. They have 2 arms that predominantly throw. They have more of a staff, but majority of the innings have come from 2 pitchers. You want them to be as fresh as possible. Coming off of having to play 4 games in 4 days last weekend, a long bus trip, and then going into the Florida Regional this weekend, you want to preserve the arms as best as possible. And the winner's bracket, best way to go through.
Rothrock has battled back to 2-2 on Peterson and wins that battle. Out to right field for Kistler, 2 away. What is it like, though, to come in as an overwhelming favorite like Florida is, of course, in this regional? You're the number 4 national seed. To deal with that pressure, because you know if you don't advance, I mean, it's going to be a real failure for the season.
I think if you're in the right headspace, which I think Florida is, you're not thinking about losing. You're thinking about taking care of business, taking care of what's in front of you. And there is, for lack of a cliche, but there is no fear. You're going out and you're saying, I am attacking this at bat. I'm attacking this pitch. I don't really care who's in the other dugout. Yes, I'm going to do my scout, but I'm going at it as somebody who is confident in my ability.
That's fair. And down the left field line, there goes Gibson into second, sliding in with a 2-out double.
How about that? That one was hit so hard. It almost hit the umpire over at third base, but I think that was the right call. That one was definitely on the right side of that fair line.
Oh, that was really close. I'm
that
not
hit
sure.
Off of her heel.
The home plate umpire, Chris Neighbors, is right there to potentially make that call, and David Darrows is going to look like was going over to Neighbors as well. Let's see this one more time.
I think it's in, but
it's in, but it does hit the umpire. It hits Tatum Stolting in the back as she's trying to get out of the way of that. Yeah, that is on the line. That's the correct call. I mean, David Darrows was being an umpire himself, signaling fair ball as well.
He just wanted to
helping
let
everybody out.
Umpires may be distracted, getting hit by a ball, so I'll just call it for her.
And so now Mackenzie Wittenberg swinging at the first pitch, and there it goes to Wallace. And Rothrock next year, but Big 12 freshman of the year, 2-time national champion, Olympian, Nicole Mendez. We can run the gamut here till the end of the 4th inning, probably with that. But Florida comes up now here, Nicole. Reagan Walsh, Katie Kistler, Ava Brown looking to tack on.
Walsh, her last at bat that was the first hit that I really felt from Florida going, ooh, she made solid contact with that. They're figuring something out. They're working through something. They're about ready to bust open.
Walsh, not exactly a player that's easy to forget, but when, you talk about Jocelyn Erickson, Skylar Wallace, Corby Otis, Kendra Falby, the names just jump off of the page. And Walsh may not be the first one you circle, but she's going to make sure you are one of them by the end of the day with those 16 home runs this year.
It's just the type of player who might not be, again, the eye test as loud as some of those other players, might not have racked up the same type of accolades, but she gets so many RBIs for this team, especially recently.
2-1 is flown out to shallow center. The second baseman makes the call on the catch. There's Meek, one away. I tell you, I've been so impressed with Allison Sparkman in the circle today.
Again, it's just the ability to move pitches around in the zone. And even with the off-speed, I want to talk about that, how she's been flipping it a little bit. I think she's only gotten one strike called, but the ability to have a batter, even if it's not a strike, be thrown off balance by a slow pitch, that resets her timing. Absolutely. That pitch is so good. I wish it was called. That is a really, really good pitch. She's been spotting the corners very well. It's just a matter of, is it getting called, is it not?
Kistler walked her first time up. She is nibbling around that zone, but Chris Neighbors doesn't want to give her any of the first two.
And I think that's what happened last at bat. That's what happened with Williams whenever she got her walk. It's those pitches that are so tight, so close, and they don't quite get the effective strike call right there. But now instead of maybe a 1-ball, 2-strike, it's 2 balls, 1 strike.
Right back to Sparkman. 2 away.
And we always love a pitcher who can field the ball as well. Who wouldn't take an added defensive player just right in front of everything, scoops it right up?
Sparkman's first NCAA tournament passing the test at this point. Ava Brown now. Freshman versus freshman. Brown a fly out to center her first time up. That'll be on the outside corner for strike 1. For the last 5 retired by Sparkman. Chopper over to third under the glove of Gibson. There's Wiley across the diamond. She got her.
That runner really step into her own this game, this series. You want to know that you can have multiple arms to rely on. If you just have Ava Brown who's dominating, yes, that doesn't take you all the way through postseason. Rothrock, she has now opened up a wealth of opportunities for this really great offensive Gator team, but you got to have the arms to go to the distance. She's been proving herself time and time again.
What adjustments would you like to see FGCU make here in the 5th?
I think the biggest thing is focusing, kind of like what Tim Walton said for his Gator team, is focusing on hitting the top half of the ball. If you're facing a pitcher who's throwing a ton of rise balls, I'm going to try to look lower in the zone. I'm going to limit myself not to the top of the strike zone, but maybe let's look for pitches that are waist high. Because let's be honest, whenever you see a good rise ball, you can't always lay off of that.
Swing and a miss, 1 away here in the 5th. Third strikeout of the game for Rothrock.
And I think that is what she has done, is been able to go, okay, they're going to go up in the zone. Let me tumble something off the bottom end, make them chase after that, make them realize, okay, it's not just up that I have to watch out for, it's that low pitch down in the zone as well.
First strikeout for her since the first 2 hitters of the game against Rothrock, and that's outside the zone for Megan Ricks. Hit by pitch her first time up, then she stole second base, but was left right there. Wiley, Black, and Viancos down in order to end the third. Rick's missed about 2 seasons, 2 full seasons, because of multiple labrum surgeries after having elbow surgery in high school. It has been a really rough road for her, and because of that, forced to change her position. She came in as a shortstop. Now she's a first baseman because she just doesn't have that full range of motion when she's throwing because of all the surgeries.
I mean, the limit that it puts on your shoulder, you have to learn how to rethrow. You have to learn, okay, well, I can't play shortstop. I'm going to have to learn a whole new position. There's a lot of persistence that goes into an injury period. But whenever you have 2 years of it, you really, really have to dig deep. You have to love the game a lot, and you have to have really good support. And that's one thing that this team has.
Fly ball out to left. This is playable for Otis. And there's 2 away. Sunday, the Rally Cap crew will break down the softball regionals in the final week of the baseball regular season. Looking ahead at the Supers and the SEC baseball tournament, beginning 7 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app. There is going to be a lot to recap because, once again, all 13 SEC softball teams in the field. And next year, probably going to be all 15. Because if you extrapolate, you've got Texas and Oklahoma, who of course are top national seeds, and they're joining the SEC. I cannot even imagine being a head coach in the Southeastern Conference going forward.
Can't even imagine the scouting reports that you have to write up. Not just on the fact that there's so many good teams, but just on the fact that there's 15 scouting reports that you have to write up. And obviously, you'll know, okay, we're not going to play every single team in conference, but you do want to be prepared because come tournament time, you got to have something.
And there's a good chance you're going to see a team that you have not all year long when you get to the SEC tournament. 1-2 flown and caught. There's Gels. The third 1-2-3 inning for, and Gator shades are still on.
Alive and well.
He hasn't gone anywhere, believe it or not. Florida just up 2-0, though. This game is still very much in the balance between the SEC tournament champs and the ASUN tournament champs. Ariel Kowalewski, Mia Williams, and Kendra Falby all do 8-9-1 against Allison Sparkman, who, all things considered, the only thing she has given up, Skylar Wallace's 2-run double in the third. That's the difference in this game, and the way that Keegan Rothrock has been throwing for the Gators might end up being enough in itself.
Think about where they were in the lineup last time they scored back in the third. It's the exact same top of the lineup of that rally.
Just Tamik. She has been really busy over at second base. Didn't have to move too far for that line drive off the bat of Kowalewski.
Sparkman here, she trying to get on that inside half, leaves it a little bit over the plate. And whenever you do that, again, with this Florida lineup, they are too good. You can't leave too many pitches hanging out, not on those corners. But I do think that's a result of her not being able to get those pitches on the corners called for strikes. She has been struggling. Last at bat, she walked Mia Williams, had 2 very, very solid pitches.
1 out for Mia Williams. Just off the plate. Emily Shirella comes in to play right field for Olivia Black, making a bit of a defensive change there for David Deros. Williams walked and scored her first time to the plate on that 2-run double by Wallace.
Whenever you think back to it, she was so pivotal that in that 9 hole, she walked, had a couple of pitches that were close. her slide into second, really good slide, being able to get in before the ball was thrown to second base. And then, of course, Skylar Wallace has to hit the ball, but if she's not there, things might have been a little bit different.
The 3-0 is upstairs.
And we talked about it last time, the ability to have the little things done right. And that is what the Gators have really fine-tuned this month, is not taking those pitches, is being very aggressive whenever you do get runners on base, is making adjustments, hitting the top half of the ball, batter to batter, within an inning instead of waiting 2 whole innings to come back up.
Neil Williams has seen 8 pitches, all outside the zone. Kendra Falby shows bunt, pulls it back. Throw behind, not in time.
You can see her smiling. She was maybe a step or 2 off that bag. I don't think she quite expected the throwback. Kind of fell on top of that bag. I don't even want to call it a dive back to the bag, more of a plop. As long as you get back,
it
though,
accomplishes
right?
the same goal.
Just make sure you're safe.
1-0 right at third. There's Gibson, and they'll easily double off Williams. So far, but they are right in this game, only trailing by a couple of runs with 6 outs to work with. Olivia Black takes just on the outside corner, 0-1. Alex Perlman, Nicole Mendez back with you all weekend long here in Gainesville, Florida, where the rains came earlier, delayed our start an hour, but that's it. That fly ball pushes the left fielder Otis back, and she'll drift and make the play. All things considered, could have been a lot worse, but only 1 hour, and now the sun is shining. It's certainly humid out there, as you would expect. But great to see some excellent softball to start off our weekend. You know, these games, the national seed versus the 4 seed, sometimes aren't all that competitive, but that has not been the case so far.
This game is going in a very different direction.
What a bunt! Well done by Viancos, and maybe that is the spark for FGCU.
This game is going in a very different direction than I think Florida expected coming into this. But we talked about what FGCU does so well. It's small ball, it's stealing the bases, and it's defense. And that is what they have been proving all throughout this game. They find themselves in the top of the 6th. They're down by 2. What are they going to go to? They're going to go to what they're good at.
I wonder at some point, if you're David Deros, if you do start Avery Viancos here, because you do have Oaks, Peterson, and Gibson up, and there's not a lot of power in this lineup, but if there's any, it's coming from those 3 hitters. Oaks swinging away, 0-2.
If you're Florida Gulf Coast, you're telling yourself right now, you're reminding yourself at the plate, on deck, in the dugout, this is not the time to get the base runners on. This is not the time to go out and get so excited that we're just swinging at anything. Stick to the plan. Look for pitches low in the zone. Be very disciplined.
Stays alive. Well, clearly what we've seen from the Eagles is they have come in here to Gainesville and not been intimidated at all. Gone toe-to-toe with the SEC Freshman of the Year, Rothrock, in the circle. They haven't had much to write home about offensively, but their pitching has kept them in the game.
And their defense, they have been
Very
spot
much
on.
so.
Just ended last inning with a double play.
0-2 though on Oaks. 0 for 2 herself. Off the fist to third, and there's Kowalewski for out number 2. Neely Peterson was absolutely the hero last Saturday. Championship game of the A-Sun tournament. Look at the fence dimension. 225, and that one cleared by a long way.
25 might clear the bullpen out in left field.
I mean, it's at least onto the roof by the pitching lab. And Peterson have one more big swing here for the Eagles in the postseason. 5 wins, 5 days. I mean, for a team like FGCU, they know that going into that tournament, they need to win. They needed to win at the end of the season, though, to even get a bye in the A-Sun tournament. They accomplished that, and then were able to run through. Didn't lose at all. jammed her on the left side. Kowalewski the call and the catch. Every time that Rothrock has needed to make a big pitch, she's been able to come in up on the hands of Florida Gulf Coast. And 2 times less errors than Florida Gulf Coast does. And they're fielding 975. Florida Gulf Coast just 956 on the season, which is kind of a low mark. But that is not what we have seen so far today.
Coach talked about in practices, they started implementing challenges every single practice for Florida Gulf Coast. Being able to have that, able to practice day in and day out. Okay, here's a defensive challenge, execute it. How do we be better? How can we feel the pressure and make it game-like in a practice? And I think that's what you're seeing right now. It's been paying off, plus really good scouting report. That pitch, so good. Man, that was one of the better changeups that we've seen all day today from Sparkman.
Ball and a strike on the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for the Gators. Corby Otis to start, takes strike 2 on the inside part of the plate. Otis looking for her first hit of the weekend. So far, a pop-up to second and a line out to right field.
A really cool thing about Otis. So she actually transferred in, but Florida was her dream school growing up. You get that a lot from a lot of the Gator girls, but she didn't go to Florida. Her first Women's College World Series was Florida back in 2014. She was just saying, it feels so full circle to be a Gator.
Big cut and a miss. Sparkman got her, and there is the first K of the game.
This pitch lower in the zone. Watch how it just drops off inside. That is a big swing from Otis. In that testament to the drop on that inside half, how much it dropped close to the plate. That wasn't a gradual one. It was a sharp break.
Pitch on the outside corner. Strike 1 to Wallace with that 2-run double, the only scoring in this game. Pushing her hit streak to 12. Has a hit and an RBI in the last 8 games. She's also homered in 4 straight. Give her another hit here in this one.
Skylar Wallace has really found her stride. This pitch is on the outer half. That is not a miss. But that is the pitch that she has been hunting all game long, and she is ready for it. You could tell on time, on plane, and she's able to stay down with her posture all the way through. You're just glad no one's on base for that hit.
Unlike last time, Jocelyn Erickson a little bit low and outside. It just goes to show you how difficult it is to play softball at this level. How is it possible that Skylar Wallace hit 149 in the month of April?
When you're down, but when you're hot, you're hot.
Bit low and in. Wallace's 24th multi-hit game of the year, 6th straight, and oh yeah, she's got 32 stolen bases, has only been caught once. Now, bit of a discussion between Peterson and Sparkman, the battery.
This is a very dangerous part of the lineup for Florida. You're going through the 3rd time through. They know what you've been throwing. You're gonna want to make adjustments. I think coach is gonna come out and talk to them as well.
David Deros wants to have a conversation with the home plate umpire, Chris Neighbors. And now everyone is going to come out to the circle, and we're going to get some attention here from the trainer.
I think you can't walk into a locker room and get a new cleat. You got to say, hey, can I get a tape job mid-game? But that is a serious thing. That's a drag foot. You're basically just dragging on your sock if there's a hole in your shoe. That impacts your pitches. That impacts your focus. And
3
again,
balls and no strikes.
how tough are they? How tough are they? What a game it's been. What an inning.
They are absolutely representing the Atlantic Sun Conference exceptionally well. But now running into a little bit of trouble in this middle of the order. Wallace to second and Erickson down to first base. Third walk of the game so far by Sparkman, and it brings up Reagan Walsh. FGCU has had some action in their right field bullpen, and that might be what David Deros is discussing with Chris Neighbors.
Let's make them guess again. Let's make them feel uncomfortable, maybe swing outside themselves, get us out of this inning quickly.
Home deals to Reagan Walsh. Runners on the move, and the double steal executed by Florida.
Doug Walton, whenever we talked to him earlier in the game, he was saying we want to be aggressive. And this double steer right here is the aggression. That throw just a little bit off. Riley does a good job, by the way, of catching it and trying to attempt to make that tag. Honestly, just misses Wallace. That throw's a little bit more on point. She might have gotten her.
Maybe expecting the bunt there by Walsh, and that wheel play is on. So the shortstop, Wiley, took a long time to get to third, and I would imagine that caught FGCU off guard a little bit.
Where she's positioned now, she's a little bit farther in, a little bit tighter, looking, expecting something that comes her way. Skylar Wallace, she's going to be headed home, but before she was a couple steps up the middle, a little bit deeper. It's a lot longer run.
Basic could score 2. That's driven out to left field. Viancos underneath makes the play. Easily going to get Florida another run on the Walsh sac fly. And a bit more breathing room for Keegan Rothrock when we play the top of the 7th.
This pitch just elevated over the middle of the plate. Can't get much nicer than that. And Walsh, we talked about her. She kind of goes under the radar. You're so focused about these other hitters that sometimes you forget she's a really good pitcher. And they're going to intentionally walk this one, trying to load the bases, trying to get an easy force out somewhere. Excuse me, runners on first and second.
The reason they're doing that is because they have Avery Gels in that on-deck circle. Remember, she came in for Ava Brown for defensive purposes a couple of innings ago, so it is going to be Gels getting the chance here with the bases loaded and 2 outs and a massive moment in this game.
So I was wrong earlier whenever I spoke. There's just a runner on second. By putting the runner at first, there's a force at third. There's a force at second. There's a force at first. It gives them opportunity with 2 outs.
So just first and second. My mistake, Avery Gels now. Her first at bat.
A lot of smiles there in the dugout for the Gators. They're feeling pretty good right now.
It's loose. Even though it's only a 3-0 lead, you probably wouldn't know it from looking inside that third base dugout.
There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of cheering, a lot of clapping.
0-1 on Gels. And even just getting that 1 run, Nicole, I mean, it feels like a lot with the way that Rothrock is throwing and the at-bats that we've seen from FGCU.
Also, they struggle to get any runs across the board, so just getting 1 gives you that boost. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. We know where we're going. No need to worry, no need to panic.
Ball and a strike. You know, are you playing at all for tomorrow as well? Trying to, feel good leaving this game, even though you've been kind of stymied by Sparkman?
I think the biggest thing is whenever you're given an at-bat, make the most of it. That's the best practice for tomorrow. That's the best practice for the game, is making the most of everything.
Opposite way, dunks in front of Viancos. Erickson coming in. Both runners move up on the errant throw. And now the Gators offense coming together. Gels delivers.
The Gators, they have really bust this game wide open now. It feels like they are just attacking, swinging, getting those runs. Look at the aggression from Erickson. No stop. Didn't even look to see, okay, is she throwing home? Is she not? That was a little bit of a miscue, I feel like, between that relay to home. Gibson tries to cut it off, mishandles it.
Kowalewski dunks it into right field. 2 more for Florida. And here is that offense that the fans at Presley Stadium all know and love so well.
We talked about how great a job Sparkman was doing. She hit those corners well. This pitch over the plate, and again, another one that is elevated. You don't have to hit it over the fence to be able to score 2. You just have to get it to the outfield.
So Allie Holm comes in and is, except for that sac fly, not retired a batter. Intentional walk to Kistler, single by Gels, and Kowalewski with a 2-run single as well. Get Bailey Goddard, it looks like, into pinch run for Kowalewski. So this has to feel good for the Florida lineup, no question. After going through, and it felt like maybe they could break out against Sparkman. They get Allie Holm in this game, and now they've been kind of teeing off. Here, all with 2 outs.
The dreaded 2-out runs. We were talking before the game, and I was asking you, what is a stat that you just love to see? You said whenever a team is able to score with 2 outs.
Mia Williams, couple of walks so far. And this is how quickly the Gators offense can change a game. She leaves the yard, this ball game is over. You got the run rule.
Quick runs, right? I feel like I wish I could go back and time it, but
4-run inning right now for the Gators. First through 5th, 2 runs, 2 hits. In the 6th, 4 runs on 3 hits.
I feel like those runs happened maybe within 5 minutes of each other, though. It happened so fast.
Williams takes strike 1. And the last thing that Allie Holm wants to do is turn this lineup over to get Falby and Otis up to the plate.
These pitchers have been having trouble pitching to Williams. Walked her last 2 at-bats.
Williams sends it skyward to shallow left for Viancos, and she'll make the play. No stress type situation.
She's just been cruising through this game. Absolutely working those 2 rise balls, the different planes. I mean, whenever you're able to tunnel those 2 as well as she has been able to do, you're bound to have a really good game. I think the best part, though, is just watching her interact with her teammates, whether it's on field, in between pitches, or even in the dugout.
She has been such an iron woman in the circle for them as a freshman. This is her 35th start, and coming in, she was tied for the most starts in the country with Texas State's Jessica Mullins. Now, when they start play in the College Station Regional, Mullins is going to be in the circle. So they're going to continue to be tied. We know that for sure. But Rothrock looking for a 22nd complete game. I asked Tim Walton if he was worried about the wear and tear on her arm, and it was a very quick no. Absolutely not.
No, and she can't be. We need her.
We don't have a
need
choice.
her through this season.
Yep. Jam to shallow center, and there's Falby one away. Well, coming up here on SEC Network, Baton Rouge Regional, LSU, the number 9 seed hosting Jackson State. You can watch it on SEC Network. As it looks like we might have a late pitching change here with Rothrock out of the circle. Maybe a chance to get some more experience here for a different arm. She's going to hand it off to her fellow freshman, Ava Brown. And check out this ovation. Much deserved.
both of the starting pitchers this game have really done a great job so far. And at the end of the day, Rothrock, she was able to make the most, limit those walks, limit those free passes, and that is the difference maker all the way up until the 6th inning. But what she has done, like you said, her arm, it has to be tired. It doesn't matter whether you've thrown a lot or not. This time of year, as a player, as an athlete, as somebody who just finished up your semester, school's done, you're tired mentally, physically, emotionally, you're exhausted. So it's driving deep, finding that within you. And then Ava Brown, the chance to, first time ever in a regional, first time ever in postseason. She's getting a game, she's getting some arms in, she's getting some pitches in. That feeling of being able to hand it off to your fellow freshman, that has to be so good.
Well, she comes in with just the same credentials basically as Rothrock does. Both of them Gatorade National Players of the Year. Brown was 2-time Player of the Year in Texas. And even before she won those awards, though, she committed to Tim Walton and Florida. So he kind of knew what they were getting before maybe the rest of the country even did.
Have Rothrock, who did such a great job this game, and then, like you said, Ava Brown's never lost a game in high school, and Tim Walton said, I want that kind of pitcher, that one who refuses to lose, who's tough, who says, give me the ball, I want to be in the circle.
Just 2 hits allowed by Rothrock, 2 more outs needed here for Brown and Florida before they have a date with the winner of South Alabama and FAU in the 1-0 game tomorrow, with the first pitch slated for 1 Eastern time here in Gainesville. One of 3 games tomorrow. Saturday, always the best day to be a softball fan. The elimination start, that's maybe the sad part, but also teams are going to punch their ticket to the regional final.
And seeing those faces light up and be so excited, that's my favorite part about Saturdays.
Flipped out to left. It'll get out of play. So Barnard come in for Gels, now the 3rd first baseman that we have seen for the Gators. We are done just a little over a half hour later. Going to be first pitch between the Jaguars and the Owls. Just missed. Trying to spot that 1-2. Two, a third. There's Kowalewski. She's been busy over there at the hot corner.
And talk about gamer, talk about a young player getting to perform on the biggest stage. This one, full extension, has to drop down to the knees. That's reaction, but that's also, okay, I'm ready. If the ball comes to me, I'm catching that one.
2 outs for Tiffany Meek. Was 0 for 2 against Rothrock today. There's strike 1. We'll be keeping our eye on the Lafayette Regional all weekend long, because that is who the winner in Gainesville will play, whoever comes out of the Lafayette Regional next week in the Supers. And it was an easy 5-inning run rule win for Louisiana earlier on today over Princeton. There's the final out here for Florida as they take down Florida Gulf Coast with an impressive 6-0 shutout.
you can't walk into a locker room and get a new cleat. You got to say, hey, can I get a tape job mid-game? But that is a serious thing. That's a drag foot. You're basically just dragging on your sock if there's a hole in your shoe. That impacts your pitches. That impacts your focus. And
3
again,
balls and no strikes.
how tough are they? How tough are they? What a game it's been. What an inning.
They are absolutely representing the Atlantic Sun Conference exceptionally well. But now running into a little bit of trouble in this middle of the order. Wallace to second and Erickson down to first base. Third walk of the game so far by Sparkman, and it brings up Reagan Walsh. FGCU has had some action in their right field bullpen, and that might be what David Deros is discussing with Chris Neighbors.